my sisters and I worked for. When I arrived, again, almost 13 years old, a stranger in a new country, you and Kiana were 2 years old, completely unaware of what it had taken just to get us all in the same room. Okay? Watching you grow up and graduate from college, you from Temple University, build your life in Delaware and the Philly circuit on your own terms. I saw the whole arc of it. We crossed the ocean so that the next chapter could look like you. You carried the proof that all of that was worth it.
I'm honored. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate that. And I would say that I always say this on top of that, to add to exactly what you said, is I'm so grateful that mommy came over to America every day, regardless of the situation in America today. I'm so grateful for the opportunity, because I would say one of the things that I've carried, and I think we still continue to carry, is the sacrifice that she made. Because some people may not see it as a sacrifice, but it was a sacrifice. Because people think it's that easy to come to America and make a name for yourself. Even people in the countries that people are migrating from. You don't realize that you could bathe in the ocean for free. You don't realize you could climb a tree and grab some fruit for free. You don't realize you could kill one of them chickens roaming the streets, cock-a-doodle-doo, for free. And you're set. While we're here in America, you have to pay for water. You have to pay for the air you breathe. You have to pay for the land. You have to pay for every single thing. So not just all beyond that, I'm so grateful because I had an opportunity. No matter how we shape it or frame it, I was given a greater opportunity to prove myself and become more. And it is something I do hold and carry as a weight on my shoulder, a chip on my shoulder, that I have to be more than the last generation, be more than my mother, and even be equally as great as my siblings, or more, given what they've had to go through. Of course, their drive is going to be even more because they have something more to prove. But for me, I have to keep reminding myself that, hey, my mother didn't do this for anything, like just for anything. She gave up her life and she did this from was it a rice mill worker? What was she like? So
flour
mill worker?
Flour mill
so that
worker, yes.
We could be in a cubicle or somewhere where we're creating an opportunity for the future generations to see that there's a massive growth. And if people don't see the growth that was had based on where our family has come from, as long as we see it and we know that we're doing more, and that the other generations do not become complacent and do more and give back more and be a better version of who we were, I feel like everything Sean did to move over here was worth it in the end. And I just don't want to be a disappointment. And I know that's a lot to carry. But it's something that I have to continue to carry no matter what. And I choose to carry because I want to make sure that that's something that continues to drive me. Because you have to remember your history or you're doomed to repeat it. I don't want to see my nieces and nephews or even my children becoming anything less than we have been. I want them to have the growth opportunity. I want them to understand the struggles that we've gone through. Because one thing I realize in this generation is that they don't fully realize, maybe with this book, they will realize what people have gone through, especially us, or especially you all. But sometimes remember, hindsight is 20/20, and it becomes too late at that point where you need to understand and see that, hey, this hasn't been this easy all the time. We made it easier for you, but that doesn't mean you need to make it super easy. You need to show the next generation beyond yourself that you need to work harder and harder so that there's something, a legacy that we've left behind.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I get that, especially being born as a privileged American. And I say that in jest and in quotations, because if someone can come from another country and feel like you're starting behind, coming here as an adult, not having gone to school here, and starting over as compared to someone who was born here, then you have to ensure that you, being more privileged in that way, accomplish as much or even more than that particular person. So the other thing that I guess I wanted to touch on for us is with regards to who we are, with regards to us being two women with particular chapters and seasons of our life. So just being a little bit real about where we both are. I am married now 19 years this year, 26 together with my husband, 3 children, a home, a business, a forthcoming book or two, right? A whole lot of moving pieces. And you're in Delaware, sort of the Philly area, continuing to build your career in your season, figuring out your next chapters on your own timeline, which sounds fun. We are in fundamentally different seasons of life. And I think that's worth naming without any hierarchy or anything like that. We're just in different places. And again, there is that 10-year gap. What does your season feel like right now?
So my season right now feels like, and I would say that when we spoke about carrying, I was carrying a chip on my shoulder. I needed to be successful. I was just trying to bulldoze through life and get as high as possible, get as much money as possible in the interim. How has that worked out? Everyone's journey is different, right? Completely. And definitely in a different season. I have gotten to the point where I've worked so hard that I don't have imposter syndrome. I know I can do anything and be anything. But I personally wanted, and in the recent years, to slow down, to gain back my time, to now invest in my community and meaning in building it, meaning my friendships, bringing my family back together. Because I would say I was carrying so much that I got so tired at some point that even I had to separate from, of course, our family and siblings, where, of course, sometimes I wouldn't answer messages or calls. But that's because I was breaking down mentally with so much to carry because I put such a heavy burden and load on my shoulders. And sometimes it was a burden that wasn't mine to carry. And even times now, I still carry burdens that aren't mine to carry. And I have to continue to remind myself of what I need to carry. So in this season, I'm discovering myself. I'm trying to learn what I love, what I need. I want to make sure that my family, my siblings, my nieces and nephews, the people around me feel appreciated, feel like I am present. And I'm even apologetic in many fashions because I couldn't do all of it at the same time where others can. I just didn't learn how to do it. I didn't know how to do it. And that's no excuse. That's why I'm aiming to make sure that's a part of my life. I'm also heavy in my spirituality and making sure there's a higher power. I believe in God, and I want to make sure that I'm at peace in my spirit, at peace in everything that I'm doing. It's just a part of the process. Everyone lives and learns. We're all, and I say this all the time, we're all living this life for the first time. So I can't hold higher expectations for my mother. I can't hold higher expectations for my siblings. I can't hold higher expectations for a partner or certain things. Of course, you want to see them grow and have some expectations to some degree, but they're all learning along the way. They haven't been here before.
Right.
We had all here. We all were born. We all living our first life. So I have to have grace, and I also have to have grace for myself. Right now, I'm in a relationship, and that's something I'm now pursuing. At first, I didn't think that's something I wanted to pursue because I thought there was a pattern. I had to make sure my finances were right first. I had to make sure that my community was right first, my spirituality was right. But I'm working on it, and I've been improving on it. So I'm delving into that space. I would love to eventually be married. It hasn't always been a thought because my primary focus was success, success, success.
Right.
And success shows up in many ways, and who am I to judge, right? Of course, my twin, she had a family first, and some people may have judged that she had a family first and didn't do certain things, but hindsight being 2020 and seeing where we are now, that may have even been a blessing. Right. You can't allow people to judge because she'll be a empty nester,